Welcome to Women's $1 Million Conversations with Alice Tang, where we share stories from successful businesswomen who have saved, earned, or sold over $1 million and discuss how they built their success and insights to help you achieve your goals. Now, let's join the conversation.
We're very happy to have Audra Smith, one of my good friends, with us on Women's $1 Million Conversation. Welcome, Audra.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Audra, tell us about your background.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Audra Smith, and I am in the financial industry, and I focus specifically on employee benefits and business owners.
Very good. And how long have you been in the industry?
Oh my gosh, I've been in the industry for more than 30 years. I started out as a part-time job while still going to college.
Excellent, excellent. So how long does it take for you to get to that $1 million?
It was a slow roll is what I would like to say. And I really thought about that in probably a good 26 years.
Wow. That's a lot of hard work, having a marriage, having a child, I know, and building your career, moving from one state to another a couple times at least.
And not really starting in the financial planning world. So learning about the industry, learning about this wonderful, again, industry that we're in, and then making these very specific decisions to choose a path that could get me on the path to become very financially successful.
And you are very successful in my eyes. I look up to you all the time, Audra. All right, let's check a little bit about the feeling. If you recall, when you hit that $1 million, how did it make you feel?
Yeah, I remember you look at whether it's your 401k or your savings or doing your taxes. And I just remember that moment there was that sigh of relief a little bit, because I think that is that first touch point of saying, okay, you've got this. And then for me, the second feeling was like, okay, how do you duplicate this? So it was a sigh of relief, but also enthusiasm to try and do it again, and maybe at a faster or shorter time period.
Awesome. One of our guests many interviews ago have said that hitting that million reframe what is possible. I think probably that's what you meant. You want to double. How do I double it?
Right.
Sooner than 26 years.
Yes.
And of course, you have the experience, you have the skills, so you don't need to repeat trial and error on some of the things that you've done in the first 26 years to get there.
Right.
What is the biggest bias you ever have faced? And a lot of people would think that I meant gender. I don't mean gender or anything. I'm open. It could be an internal bias, could be some craziness that is a bias against you.
And mine is going to be a little bit of a mix. So part of it was my own bias on myself, my own self-limiting beliefs of, can I do this? I can't do this. You're not good enough. And that sounds, a little bit cheesy, but you really do have that self-doubt. In addition to that, I did run into some biases being a female leader in a more sales leadership dominated industry. Being one female amongst 16 male leaders, there's some uniqueness going on there. And is there bias? I don't know. Maybe we need to interview all of them as well to get that true answer.
I'm sure that you get to board meetings or team meeting with the other 15 wonderful men in the room. I just want you to share with the audience, how do you prepare your mindset when you walk in that room, whether it is virtual or physical?
So I'm going to tell you how I did it in the past, and it was the wrong way. And it was also a very old thought process that I think a lot of women had, which was, I needed to be one of the guys. I needed to be one of the boys. And what I learned was that, no, my best self is who I am. So stop pretending and get really comfortable with being myself and who I am, and walk into that room with your head held high.
Walk into that room with your head held high. because your best self is yourself. Wow, that's powerful. In your journey to success, of course, you have had many big decisions you got to make. How do you process a huge decision, especially when the stakes are really high? Would you share with our audience?
Sure. I think you always have to start with the facts, data, and logic, but don't forget the emotional intelligence side of the decision-making process as well. So don't just look at whether or not it's the right decision on paper. Let your gut also be part of that, whether it's a business decision, personal decision. I think those two things, balancing those two, are just as critical in the importance of evaluating whether you take on a new industry, whether you move across the country like I did in order to better myself in my roles, or to move back after 20 years. There's a lot of big decisions. And then from a business standpoint, probably a little more leaning towards the facts, data, logic, financials, looking at the bigger picture, but there's still a little bit of that gut reaction that comes into business as well. So again, don't be so headstrong in thinking that it has to be one path or the other. Be able to take a step back, really look at every angle and solutions work. If you're in sales, or really if you're just a problem solver in general, you're looking at what needs to be solved and make sure you're looking at it from everybody's perspective. I think if we slow down enough to do that and get everyone's perspective, you're going to make a really good decision.
How do you slow yourself down? I know you drive 1,000,000 miles in a Ferrari every day, knowing what you do.
I wish I have that Ferrari. Maybe that's where that.
But emotionally, you have the emotional Ferrari who is like from the get-go in the morning from 4:30, is like, go.
Sure. I do drive a convertible in Arizona, which is a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie, but it's not the Ferrari. Yeah, I think, again, being very mindful, set the time. If it's a really big decision, if it's a life-changing decision, you better slow that calendar down and you better block off some time to really think things through. If it's more of that business decision, some business decisions, as you have to come very quickly. And I think from a business side of the house, it would be more of just getting all of the extra noise out of the way so you can laser focus on the issue. And then again, if you have the luxury of blocking out some time and bringing in experts, that's the other thing. Don't be so fearful of others that may be smarter than you. Bring them in. If they're an expert financially, if they're an expert from an underwriting standpoint, or they're an expert, whatever, in life in general, bring those experts in. Be humble enough to say, I'm not an expert in this area, but I have to make a really tough decision. So together, let's figure this out.
Be humble and bring the experts in, what I heard. Now, perhaps you have already touched upon one of our next questions is, what is the number one piece of advice for women who aspire to be an Audra, want to get there just like you do, want to get to their $1 million?
Oh, wow. I think there's quite a few things, but the basics are still going to come down to work hard, absolutely be yourself. And then there's this saying of that actually has to deal with horses, believe it or not, but I've adopted it for business, and it is head up, heels down. So you'll hear me reference that a lot. So when you're riding a horse, it's you need to keep your head up so you can look all around, see what's going on, so you don't fall off. Heels down with a horse, same thing. If that horse comes to a complete stop, you don't want to go head over heel and fall, so keep your heels down. So I love that for being a female leader is heads up, keep your head up, look all around, what's going around you, be very aware of that, right? And then heels down, you already know I love shoes. So let's put those heels down on the ground. Let's hustle, hit the streets. Let's, again, it's about working hard, but being very aware of your surroundings as well as your opportunities. Don't be afraid to fall. Don't be afraid to fail. Get back up, do it again until you get it right. I've fallen and I've failed many times, but I'm so much better for it. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep falling. I'm going to keep failing in hopefully small ways in order to learn.
Keep failing, forward, and then
Yes.
we'll make it way better and getting closer to that $1 million we're talking about. Wonderful. I'm sure in your 30 years of successful journey, you have very tough situation where you say, God, I can't do this anymore. I really want to quit. What makes you keep going?
It's a really good question, but it's still that drive. It's still that drive to succeed. It's still what's in front of me. What have I not reached yet? And if that means I need to take a step back because maybe those goals I set for myself need to be adjusted or changed or completely turn down a different path, that's okay. But evaluate that, set new goals, set new things that you want to do. And that could be work-life balance. It doesn't have to be a financial goal or the next promotion within a company. It could be a personal goal, more time with your family, what have you, but adjust and just get re-engaged. I don't know. It's just a lot of positive affirmation about what you want to do will keep me going if I've had a day or two of a slump, but usually it's not more than that. So, yeah.
Well, you touch upon balance a couple of times. I want to just share, and I'm crazy about building wealth, but it's not necessarily the wealth of money. Of course, nobody can live without money, but it could be a wealth of time. Like you said, spending more time with family. That's what money can buy. Wealth of health, wealth of community, wealth of spiritual experience. Anything that we could think of, wealth relationship with the abundance word. I'm still playing between the two, but I just felt that you spoke to my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, the balance is really important. As you know, Alice, I just made a really big change after spending 20 years in the Pacific Northwest. I made a choice along with my husband. We made a choice together that we would go ahead and move back to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, and our family is here. That was a big choice. It was a choice financially. It was a choice, for my career, but it was also a personal choice to be able to spend more time with family. So those decisions have to be made all encompassing.
Very well said. So last question, what is one piece of very good advice or very bad advice that had impacted you in a very big way in your life? And do you mind sharing?
Yeah. And I'm going to give you two answers. I'm going to give you a bad and a future good. How's that? So the bad one was, and I think everybody has this person probably in their life where it is all about money. So the bad advice is, sort of that movie, Show Me the Money, is, it's all about money. It's not. So this particular person in my life, no matter whether it's a promotion or something good is happening, the response always is, oh, I hope you got a big bonus for that. Oh, I hope you got paid for that. Everything is related to money for this particular person. It's that friend or person wants to tell you how much they spent on everything, right? Again, I talked about, I love shoes, whether you pay a really high amount for a pair of shoes or you find them on sale at Target. It doesn't matter. It's a cute pair of shoes. It doesn't matter about the money from that standpoint, for my quick little analogy there. So the bad advice is it's not all about money. And if that's all you're focused on and that's all you talk about in a way that it's more materialistic versus planning and good planning, things like that, then that's bad advice. It's not all about money. It's about freedom and choice. Money can help you have more choices in life. And I think that's what most of us strive for, is to be able to have the flexibility to make choices when we need to and want to.
So that sounds like freedom is the value of money for you.
It is. For me, the value of money is it opens up choice and opportunity.
Well, here is a good place for us to actually close this conversation by saying, perhaps about 10 years ago, we met through financial services membership. We kept in touch despite of the fact that many things happen, good, bad, challenges, difficulty. We've never failed to connect. Sometimes we didn't see each other for a year, but most of the time, I think we have a happy hour or tea or something. or these days it's Zoom, we are living in different states. It's really that mastermind without us knowing we're masterminding.
It's a chance to catch up as friends, and yet we are so fulfilled, I think, when we leave and inspired. And that's what you bring to people, Alice. So again, it's been an incredible 10 years, and I look forward to the next 10 years.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Audra, for spending your time with us. You're a friend, Bad Advice said time is money, but you're gifting that time not only to me, so that I learn more about how to think and be able to copycat you, because I always borrow other people's experience better than I spent 3 years to learn it. And I think that a lot of people would benefit from your advice.
I hope so. And again, thank you. All right. See you soon.
Bye.